is not on the commission.
Yeah, but Mark is here.
Oh, yay.
So
Okay.
Mark, Neil, and you is a quorum.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, so I just went live so we can start.
Okay.
But
so we can call the meeting to order at 7?
At 6.
6. Ah, already like, all right.
I have a meeting at 6:30, so.
Okay, we'll do quick.
This is very short.
We have to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Yes.
Right? So anybody want to make a motion to do that?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Yay. Okay, good.
Aye.
So the code revisions went through. That is great. So that way it's somewhere in the machinery in Albany or wherever, and that'll work itself out. So finally, after many years, or at least a year. Digital signatures, don't we have to approve that?
Yeah,
Vote on that?
Yeah, just make a motion to allow the use of digital signatures on shade tree applications.
Okay, make a motion to allow digital signatures on shade tree applications.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And
What
so,
else? Oh, Sally Rhodes, the tree.
I think we can't apply for that grant because there are like some technical problems with the
Can't we just
tree
buy
city.
it? We didn't,
Yeah, I think with our budget, we could just buy a tree. I
Yeah,
think we have
well-
money in the budget.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. We have it planted in the fall and just do it. It's right across the street from our house.
I know I was driving by today. I noticed that a tree that was planted maybe 2 years ago, it's just dead. It's gone. Like they cut the top off it. It's like about this tall now.
Where?
In Peace Park,
Huh,
right in front of Sally's house.
okay. So,
It was a shorter tree, but I don't know, somewhere in Peace Park. I mean, that big pine fell down this past year. So it seems like there might be room for something in there. I know, I think a couple of years ago, remember they didn't want us planting any more trees there.
I don't remember.
I
But,
mean, I think someone said that. I don't remember the reason was, but I think we could certainly ask. I think it'd be nice to have.
yeah, take a look and see what the site might be and then what tree it might be.
Yeah.
But I think we have it in our budget to buy one tree. And it would be a nice thing for her, you know, her memory. She was helpful to us.
I'll put my eyes on the park and develop a plan for next meeting.
Okay, terrific.
Thank you.
So, Neil, what's happening with Henry W? I know it's really,
I hate trees.
I know you do.
I just love cutting down trees. I mean, that's the only reason I plant them, so I can.
It got really personal really fast.
Yeah, it did. It's unfortunate that it's so personal so fast because I'm going to talk about it tonight. But so we got this grant. We just got the final survey maybe 2 weeks ago, so the plan isn't even done yet. We
Right.
don't even know what the plan is. We don't know what side things are going to go on. So when
Not
we
both sides?
Well, so one idea, but that's not the preferred. When we asked for the grant, you have to ask for like the most plain vanilla thing, because if you deviate from what like their regular standards are, they immediately just say no. So like the plain vanilla is like the minimum you can do is, bike lanes on either side and a sidewalk on one side. And so that's what we asked for, because then it's harder for them to say, no, we don't think that'll fit. And then, once you get the engineering and you do the survey, you see what can actually fit and what you can actually afford. And so what they're proposing, the engineering firm, because a sidewalk alone on Henry W is $1 million for that whole length. Sidewalks are just really expensive. What they're proposing, and it takes up more room by the time you have a lane on, you have to have a lane on both sides, because you can't have bikes traveling in 2 different directions on the same side of the road when it's only 5 feet wide. So these are the traffic laws. So, you know, one option is to have, you know, a 5-foot bike lane, a 10-foot travel lane, another 10-foot travel lane, a 5-foot bike lane, and then a 5-foot sidewalk, right? And by the time you add all that up, it's a lot of room and it's a lot of money. So that the engineering firm is saying, well, they can put on what they call a side path, which is the same that's up along 299.
Right.
Just a 10-foot wide, you know, blacktop pavement on one side of the road. And then you don't have, and everyone shares that. And so, and then the lanes are 10 feet wide and 10 feet wide. So, you know, you're at, you know, 15 plus another, maybe a foot or two to put a guardrail in between, or if there's more room, they put, you know, maybe a grass strip. I'm seeing if there's enough room, if they could have like a grass strip between the pavement and the shared path, enough to plant trees in that 5-foot section. They don't know, but no. So that's like that. They're trying to work that out. What can they fit in there?
Well, you're going to be eating into people's property considerably, not just a couple of feet, right?
No, it's all town-owned land. Like the town, we're not going on anyone's property. You know, the town. That's what took a long time. We had to research all the deeds for every property along the whole length, and we're staying within town-owned land.
Okay.
Right. It's just a lot of people think that town-owned land is their land. That's probably the big rub, right?
Yeah, you know, but even like so we met with all of the people, and some people, you know, they asked like, well, are you going to take this tree? And we're like, well, we don't have the final survey yet. You know, when we look at it, you know, it's 15 feet from the edge of the road. Like it's almost impossible that we're going to take that tree, but we don't have the final survey, so we don't know. And that really upsets people that they don't know. It's like, well, but we're going to know, you know, they're hoping to have the final survey and a final plan done, preliminary plan, I should say. I got to be careful. It's a preliminary plan is hopefully done in the next week and a half. Then there's going to be a public meeting. And that's where they're looking to get feedback from people, you know, like, what do you think? What do you want? Is this a good idea? It's a bad idea? You know, but right now people want definitive answers, but we don't have a plan yet. You know, so we can't say which tree is going to come down or not. You know, I mean, the goal is to take down as few trees as possible. You know, any tree that gets taken down because it's on town land, another tree will get planted in its place. You know, but on the property owner's land. You know,
right.
You know, you can't plant a 30-year-old tree, and that's but the goal is to stay away from as many trees as possible, because people get upset when you cut their trees down. You know, the issue now is there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, the people are saying that we've identified the trees and they're worth $2 million. And
where did that come from?
I mean, I'm just like, look, if those trees were worth $2 million, there'd be a lot fewer trees in New Paltz, because people would be cutting down every tree. You know, you have to cut down, you know, a couple thousand acres to get $2 million worth of trees. Even then, it's iffy.
Right.
So, you know, the goal is to, once the plan is done, is to have a public meeting, present it to everyone, you know, talk about the options, see what people think. There is no, you know, secret plan. You know, this was in lots of public plans for many years. You know, the master plan, the Safe Streets to School plan, I got a whole list of them. You know, transportation plan. And so that's kind of where we are. It's just that the survey took a long time because of COVID. They couldn't get into the county offices to pull the deeds. So we're really far behind with the preliminary plan. But you know, when we get it, I'm happy to show it to you guys, and we can talk about the trees and stuff like that. You know, like, I don't even know what the final plan is. So people are saying, oh, it's a secret plan that Neil Betez has. Like, well, it's a secret to me. I don't even have it yet. You know, the engineers don't even have the final plan yet. But it's the only thing this firm does is is this type of work. They're an engineering firm that only does bicycle pedestrian stuff. And so they're being super careful about it. But that's, it's people are, I got a petition today and my name's on the trees, and I supposedly I have a company that makes money when we cut down trees.
Do they know you're on the Shade Tree Commission for the village? Or is that a well-kept secret?
No, I even, like, they asked me, like, does the Shade Tree Commission know about this? I'm like, well, I'm on the Shade Tree Commission.
Oh, so that's even worse. We're all complicit. Speaking of shade trees and inventory, do we have what is the status with the inventory we had? Because George Profus called Alana, and that was one of his questions, and I don't even know what the
I think
status
there's a copy in Village Hall. I think we have a copy in Town Hall. I think we have an electronic copy. Kathy will have a copy of the electronic copy.
Because it has things we should be thinking about doing. So I haven't even looked at it. Yeah,
I mean, it's, I can try to dig up the electronic copy. I think I can send it again. I might have sent it before, but it's around. We just haven't, we applied for another round of like money to plant trees and do the maintenance. And we didn't get it the first year, and now all the grants are on hold because of the state budget.
Okay.
So
every tree identified in that inventory as hazardous is a reflection of liability on the village. So
yeah,
ignoring it is at your peril, the village peril.
We put a list together in the beginning, I think, for the DPW, but we can remind them of
that might be something we should do.
Yeah, I know they have. John Lawler put a map together with all the trees. So the DPW has a map of all the trees and the status of the trees. So I don't know if they're using it, but we can ask them because we gave them all the data.
That's what George was asking about, I think, he was asking about the inventory, and he was asking about how they're being monitored and like if they're being monitored. And I'm almost wondering if he was asking like, is the shade tree kind of like babysitting DPW, at least when it comes to like their maintenance of the trees? Is kind of he didn't explicitly say that, but I'm getting the sense it's kind of what he was like asking. Like as far as what the shade tree does, is that one of the things that they should be doing?
Well, I mean, there's long-standing conflict between the DPW and the Shade Tree Commission.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if Christine.
I've heard whisperings of tension.
I don't really understand it either.
Well, there was some really convoluted leadership in the Shade Tree Commission as of several years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
and
true.
And that led to issues. I don't know exactly what they were, but
there was also unyielding. There was unyielding characters in the in DPW as well, and so we try. We really do try. Neil, you've done very well. I think I've made peace with, or Blue thinks I'm reasonable now, but it's always like eggshells. I don't exactly know why, but it's silly. But it's what we have to do. And
I see it from the other side, right? And boards like us often come off as extreme because we have we get to be idealistic to some extent, and then the people that actually have to do the work are like, oh my God, the shade tree wants to like save another tree or plant another tree, or and then so like you kind of roll your eyes, and I see it from both sides being on a board.
Well, I see that, but I know most of us have said, look, we will do whatever you need us to do to help you to water these trees. We've offered to water them. We've watered them. We've offered many things, and maybe it wasn't possible due to insurance reasons or whatever. and maybe we are sort of idealistic, but we're talking about 7 or 8 trees, and they give us like, we have to sell our firstborn to get these things watered. It is a little annoying sometimes.
But also, I think we've gotten better with having Dwight on here, who gives us like expert advice, and
Yes.
instead of us just being like, oh, like we can't cut down that tree, and now Dwight's like, you should cut down that tree, and here's why, and we're like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. So I think we're being taken more seriously.
No, that's good. And yes, well, we're better as a team, and Dwight is really helpful.
All right. Well, getting back to that inventory,
Yeah.
It's really meant for someone who is managing the trees in the community. And as far as I can see, there is no one doing that in New Paltz. And New Paltz is really too small a village to support a city forester or a DPW employee whose responsibility is strictly trees. So that's where I see problems in the future with respect to liability. For example, those dead elms right there in the center of, where all streets meet, just North Chestnut.
Did you see a bunch of them
came down to his car to find the top of an elm tree all over his vehicle. I don't know what damage was done, but it's just a matter of time. Gravity wins in the end, and dead elm trees don't last very long. And there are several of them. I don't know if that's village property or if it's commercial private property.
I think it's commercial, but and when I look at the code, I think the village can ask people to take down hazard trees, just like they did for Dino.
Well, I'm just trying to protect the village.
And I think
if they're village trees on village property, some measures should be taken. If they're private property, that's their business. That's their liability. They're the ones who will pay the price if it hurts somebody.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I can talk to John Lawler. He's in the DPW, and he has the map and the list of all the trees. And he's pretty good with this map. He can pull up. I think he can pull up trees that have different classifications for hazard ratings. Okay. And so maybe we can at least tell them if you
from
guys
the inventory we did.
From the inventory, yep. And he can pull them up on a map. I'm pretty sure he showed me to me a while ago. But then they can see which property they're on and if they're on village property. So that would be a good thing. I'll ask them to take a look at that, and at least then they just know that they should be, if they have the if they're going to be doing tree work, they should focus on those first.
Yeah.
And then write it down in the inventory.
One of them might be on Judge Bacon's property.
That's good to know.
I mean, his wife runs the business located in that building. And I believe they own that property, and it butts up with the parking area behind the bistro and the new building.
Yep.
And right down that property line are these 3 or 4 dead elms.
We'll make a note to ask John about that.
Make another note, don't ever park there.
Yeah. I think they're trying to sell that parking lot anyway.
I know that's all I had. So unless there's anything else.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
I was going to ask one thing. Like I noticed that the property on, is it Church and Front, used to be the place where they sold olive oil and stuff like that, right across from the bakery.
Yeah.
We approved them, I think, them to prune one tree and take one down.
They did take it down and have not yet replanted.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they had planted. I saw some really small trees there.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But I thought we usually ask. Do we usually ask for like a 2-inch caliper tree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it can't be some little 6-inch seedling.
And I think so. If they did replant, like it made me think that we might want to ask that when in the future, when people do plant trees, they send us a photo.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a
good
good
idea. Good
Um,
idea.
Because we just, I think we kind of forget and lose track, and I try to pay attention, and I was going to go back and look and say, well, what did we ask them to do, and make sure that because I want them to plant like a bigger tree and not something that is like, 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
Hmm.
So that was just my idea for tonight, that we might want to do that. Think about that in the future.
I could always add that as a provision on the application too. If you want, that just says like, upon approval of tree removal, if there's like a request made to plant a tree, that you submit a photo to the Shade Tree Commission upon planting or something to that effect.
I think that would help us.
Okay.
Anything else? Can we adjourn?
That'd be great.
To
Our
adjourn?
next
moved.
meeting, get yelled at.
A second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
care.
Take care. Take care, everybody.